Good morning. Thank you very much. As I already just mentioned, my name is Ashebir and I'm presenting the experience of NABU. Of course, I'm presenting one of NABU's projects amongst other projects, which I'm coordinating because it gets directly FLR project. As you see, Dr. Tashoma and Awoka was presenting the national perspective of FLR. I'm just taking down to the local level, to the ground, and taking some responsibilities from the national committee. As you see in the title, I'm presenting about cascading Ethiopia's national FLR initiative into landscape or local level action through project-based approach. This is the name of our project. In fact, yes, I will show you the full name, but it is called Forests for Future, or we call it just 3F project. The outline of my presentation is like this. I'm just briefly showing you simply just the national FLR initiative. Simply, it was already just presented by colleagues, but I want to show you the link how just we are working on the ground, and then just NABU's FLR or 3F project. I will tell you about the project briefly. Then just I will go to the experience of NABU in FLR. In fact, this is an ongoing project. It's not just completed. So just I will show you also the progress and the key developments so far, then the lessons and opportunities, and finally the challenges. As we all know, just the government of Ethiopia has committed to the bond challenge in A100. And following that commitment, the government takes the responsibility to develop a national forest landscape restoration potential maps in the private areas to guide the national initiatives. This national initiative is just expected to be implemented by different restoration actors, including the government, CSOs. When I say CSO, it's a new name for NGO, CBOs, community-based organizations, private sectors, smallholders, of course, and other institutions, including research and academic institutions as well. So, following this national initiative, this is, by the way, the priority area that Awoka was presenting, the different priority areas, and it shows you the distribution across, social distribution across the country. So, just following this national commitment or government commitment, we are taking our responsibility as an NGO. So NABU is responding to this national initiative by developing the forest landscape restoration project. This is the project which I'm going to talk about. It's NABU's FLR project, or Forests for Future project. We shortly say yes, 3F, Forests for. This project is just normally initiated and developed based on existing problem in the southwest. This is the southwest. So just it started from the problem of area. The problems identified in the southwest are just, as we know, just southwest is a forest dominated landscape, but there are problems if you go to inside or into the landscape. The problems are just there is forest disturbance in the form of forest degradation, fragmentation, perforation, and deforestation. There is climate change related problem. For example, the temperature is increasing and the rainfall is just slightly declining from the long-term trend. As a result, forest islands are created here and there because of fragmentation, and the genetic erosion is almost going. And the impacts of livelihood of forest dependent community, because the majority of the community are directly or indirectly dependent on the forest resource in that area. Then NABU developed this project, which is just called Forests for Future. It's developing forest landscapes for livelihood and climate adaptation in the southeast Ethiopia. The location of this project is just in Kafa, Shaka, and Ben Shako zone. it is just implemented throughout the zone, which includes 21 waradas. The funding organization for the project is BMZ 90% and the NABU headquarter 10% share. This project is implemented by the NABU itself and other partner organization, local NGO, which is just Ethiopian Wetland and Natural Resource Association. We are jointly implementing this project. NABU is implementing in Kafa. Ethiopian is implementing in Shaka and Bencheko zones. The overall objective of this project is just to support the functioning, resilient, and coherent forest landscapes in Southeast Ethiopia that provides a good livelihood for the population. The specific objectives of this project is, one is just to establish Forest Alliance platform for forest and climate protection in Southeast. This is just mainly to address the problem of integration between restoration actors. The second objective is just to enhance institutional and staff capacity development in the field of forest or FLR and the climate protection. And the third is just to develop and pilot a local tailor-made forest action plans for forest and climate protection. No, we are just developing forest action plans to use it as an approach to implement FLR. And so just we have more detailed action plans. We are developing that, and it's still on the process. The objective is to implement the range of restoration strategies. The project components are this. For example, the first one is just stakeholder mapping, capacity building, and networking. The idea is just to respond to this objective. The first objective, we conducted stakeholder mapping, and then just we established a platform. I will come to that later. The second component is just focusing on participatory forest assessment and the capacity building, which is just important or a good entry point for developing forest action plans and restoration plans. The third component is just participatory development of community-based implementation of plans, that is forest action plan. And the fourth one is just piloting. Normally, this project is not implementing at a full scale. We are just piloting the developed forest action plans. Mainly, the focus of this project is just on planning phase. We expect a follow-up project based on our plans and also the achievement of the pilot implementation. The fifth component is just focusing on the communication campaigns to increase awareness on restoration and the problems. So just our approach to FLR through this project and the key developments so far are as follows. NABU's approach to restoration basically rely on the definition, concepts, principles, and understanding of FLR, which I hope and expect from this training as well. And also it's just based on the characteristics of the successful FLR interventions. It takes also just into account the site-specific range of eligible restoration strategies to tailor to local contexts, because just there are a long range of restoration strategies. We are not only just relying on tree planting and raising seedling. We use just the available range of restoration strategies, including tree planting, of course. It takes into account the various global, national, and local interests, because just FLR is just in a global move also. It also just we are locally acting to respond. It relies also just its own organizational vision and mission, which is just directly related to habitat conservation, protection, and management of natural resources, including wise resource utilization. It attempts also to contribute to the enhancement of the key enabling or success factor for FLR. This project or our approach is just also just mainly focusing on supporting the enabling factors to be the ground for restoration. It also aims to address the problem of forests and forest-dependent local community. So just based on this principle, so far just we established a regional FLR platform. We call it just Southeast Forest Alliance platform. It was established during December 2020. Which brings just almost about 47 different restoration actors and institutions together And also just we worked on building their capacity on different topics, especially on selected restoration topics. And so far, just we conducted 3 consecutive consultative meetings. This is just these pictures are showing the process. For example, this is a launching workshop. These are the capacity building events for the platform members. The platform members, of course, include different institutions like the agriculture sector, forestry sector, research institutions, NGOs, donor institutions, CBOs, private sectors are included in this platform. This is also just the capacity building program for the platform members. For the implementation of FLR, NAVU develops and uses a zonal forest action plan. We are just implementing, we are considering the zonal territory or administrative areas as our landscape for restoration. We have 3 zones, Kafa, Shaka, and Bencheko. So just when I talk about zonal level, I'm talking about the administrative areas. So just we developed a forest action plans at the zonal level based on different information. This is just also called a local FLR implementation plan, or in our case, that completely rely on different diagnostic information. Just to develop this forest action plan, we conducted different diagnostic activities, like to gather information, like just we conducted mapping of land cover, forest degradation, and also restoration potential maps for each of the zones. And we also conducted a participatory forest resource assessment to get detailed information from the forest. We conducted PRA to get PRA data, and we also used to some extent existing secondary information from different literatures. So just we conducted expert and community capacity building, and conducted also participatory forest resource assessment. As part of the capacity building activity, we are conducting 2 levels of capacity building training. The first one is just TOT. We are providing training. Just almost 150 zonal and Worada level experts have been attended on the TOT training on different topics. I will just mention later. Then following this TOT, we conducted field level training workshops where 733 trainees were attended. The majority of them are just community representatives, and also development agencies. This is basically focusing on WA or the smallest administrative unit. It includes also PFM leaders, development agencies. We conducted also PFRA on using 322 representative sample flows that we generated following the forest degradation maps. We gathered data from severely degraded natural forests and also just from moderately degraded natural forests. The mapping are this, as I already said, just we conducted the land use and cover map, forest degradation map, and forest landscape restoration potential map. And also just we use PFRA data. All this information are just basically, all this information are just with intention to be used for developing the forest action plans. These are just the participants during the TOTs, as you see, the training, and then this training has also just field practical exercise as part of the TOT. You see just field level discussions, forest assessment, measurement, discussion with the community. These are just the trainings. These are just transect. We conducted transect talk also just outside forest. When we are just planning this forest action plan, we are not only focusing on the forest area, we are focusing on across the landscape, be it just agricultural land, forest land, settlement area, pasture land. So just we consider all land uses as part of our restoration plan. This is just the discussion and the just drafting on forest action plans based on the field level data. This is also just the training at field level with the community, as you see. These are just also part of the community level training. You see, just communities are explaining or just mentioning the magnitude of problems, challenges, and the priorities using locally available material, like they are using grain or seed or anything. So just see the actual work during the project implementation. Then just they developed forest action plans, closely discussing with the community. These are some of the results of the FLR data. As you see, this is just the number of trees per DBH class at Shaka zone. You see the DBH classes and the distribution of trees and across the DBH class. You see just this imaginary line indicates that the inverted J curve indicates a very good just regeneration status. We are using, for example, regeneration related information for our restoration plan. This is just the idea, the inverted J curve. But if you go to the detail of the Kabale, these are Kabales, by the way, the data per Kabale. For example, if you see this Kabale, Komi Kabale, the lowest DBH class is just the number of trees in the lowest DBH class is lower than the other classes, which shows that there is some level of disturbance and which needs human intervention for restoration. This is also another data, number of trees per DBH class for dominant species. So just during restoration, we also identify and use which are the dominant species in that area, mainly just to focus on what species to be restored. As you see, these are the species: Crotomacrosaces, Prunus africana, Cordia africana. This is number of trees per DBH class in one of Kafa Orada. And you see just how this forest is just really just disturbed. It looks like, instead of just an inverted J curve, it looks like a kind of L shape. It means that there is no largest size trees in that forest land, but there are some seedlings, naturally generated seedlings. So just this will inform what to do. This is just the mean basal area generated from bench zone. The maximum basal area is just about 70 meter square per hectare. You see, the majorities are almost close to 20 meters square per hectare. So just this is also including the stocking per unit area, which is a good information also for planning FLR. So just based on the information, the mapping, the PRA data, which identifies the socio-economic and the demographic factors and the landscape level problems, and also on PFRA data, we identified these as our restoration strategies in the southeast. This is just basically focusing on the south area. The range of restoration strategies identified for the project areas are as follows. For example, as we know, just this is a forest dominated landscape, but the quality of forest, the disturbance is just identified. So just we considered restocking of existing degraded natural forest through assisted natural generation and also enrichment planting. We also considered agroforestry as our potential restoration strategy, woodlot and community plantation, and including reforestation. The idea here is just that the factors that lead to deforestation and degradation are one of the factors are also the demand for wood supply, be it for energy and for construction and other local uses. We also considered bamboo as our one of intervention in terms of species, because just the three zones are potential for highland and lowland bamboo, which are indigenous bamboo species in that area. It's good to link with livelihood improvement also. These are, for example of the mapping activity. This is just Kafa zone. This map is indicating the land use, land cover of Kafa zone, which is just based on Sentinel-2 image, which is just 10 by 10 meter, relatively high resolution image than Landsat. You see, this is just the level 2 class land development map. We also integrated core areas from the biosphere reserve. By the way, just Kafa is known, Kafa and Ashebir are known also for biosphere reserve area. So just when we are implementing FLR, there are areas which we are not allowed to intervene or do anything. These are the core areas according to the biosphere reserve zonation activity. So just these are core areas. So just we are not doing anything in that area. This is just the map which shows the forest degradation of Kafa zone. This is showing the potential, one of the potential, the map for one of the potential, for example, potential for restocking of moderately degraded forest. So just in this case, just we are considering assisted natural regeneration in moderately degraded natural forest. We are also considering enrichment planting with own species in forest areas that are severely degraded. We also just use such kind of secondary data or literature. For example, this is one of the recent publication by Yericho Prahanu and his colleagues. This research is focusing on woody species dynamics in Shaka Forest Biosphere Reserve area. According to this article, data were collected from a total of 43 permanent plots with a dimension of 10 meter by 50 meters that were laid along the altitude. And this article is comparing the change between two different periods, 2000 year and 2021, and you can clearly see the change over time. For example, in 2000, in the 43 permanent plots, 101 woody species that belong to 84 genera and 41 families were recorded. But after 21 years, what is recorded is just 62 woody species that belong to 44 genera and 32 families only. So just you can see the change. About 43 woody species and from 2000 inventory list, including 3 endemics were not encountered or missed during the 21. So just you can clearly see. In 2000, the aggregated density and the total basal area of woody species are these, for example, 2,590 plus or minus this value per hectare. And the stocking or the basal area is just 101 meters square per hectare. So just after 21, you see the change, especially the basal area, how it changes from 101 to 72 meters square per hectare. So just this is the change. This data also just indicated the dominant woody species was Picasso during this year, but after 21 it's coffee Arabica. This is just due to human intervention. 8 new species were also recorded after that period. Key problems were just based on this activity. The key problems were known or identified during the TOTs, field training workshops, forest assessment, and the community appraisals. Possible range of restoration strategies were identified as already showed. So clear measures to address the identified problems were listed. Zonal forest action plans developed using zonal expert workshop and then appraised by the committee again for their endorsement. Training were provided on forest and or tree-based livelihood improvement measures like agroforestry, on fruit, coffee, tree, and spice development. Then just we started also piloting of the forest action plan. Then finally, the project will produce an easy to implement step-by-step tool as the end of the project, which will be just used by different actors. This is the template we developed and we are using for the forest action plan. I think it has just the introduction section, the landscape analysis, the goal. Then just we pose what are the identified range of restoration strategies in that particular area. Then detailed action plan, monitoring and evaluation, assumption, conclusion. Okay, just in the detailed action plan, it has just 4 different structures. The first activity, for example, in this section, list of activities for range of restoration strategies includes in this column are The first one is just on activities for restoration strategies and activities. The second one is just focusing on FLR-based livelihood activities. The third one is focusing on capacity building and awareness raising. And the fourth one is monitoring and evaluation. This is just photos during the development of forest action plan. This is just the distribution of improved or grafted bamboo, grafted avocado, and apple, and then just spice as part of the livelihood program, and also restoration activity to implement the developed action plan. This is just during the distribution of three links. And the other is the communication campaign as part of the communication plan due to the urgency for addressing degradation and deforestation of the deforestation programs. NABU intends to be regularly present in such kind of events to share our experience and also learn from other actors. So far, NABU participated in 13 such national and regional events and conferences to share our experience, also just get lesson from others. As a lesson, just we are using already established PFM institutions as an entry point for our activity. So just we are not organizing community, just we are already using organized community groups to implement FLR. The second one is just we established platform, as I said, especially to address the problem of integration. So just the platform members are starting now just to contribute for the implementation of FLR. For example, the Jimma Center, Ethiopian Environment and Forest Research Institute freely provided 416 coffee seedlings for Shaka zone during the last planting season. Just this is the in-kind contribution of the platform members. The Red Plus program from Shaka zone also contributed 578 highland bamboo, which is distributed to 74 beneficiaries. As an opportunity, we just consider the establishment of the already established regional platform, and the ongoing national FLR platform is an important opportunity, especially to address the problem of synergy and integration, and also just to share lessons and scale up FLR. We also just consider there is it's possible to use existing platforms to catalyze and synergize restoration movements. The other opportunity is just restoration diagnosis and mapping shows, in the Southeast at least, shows the existence of huge potential for assisted natural regeneration to be used as one of restoration strategy in such areas. So this is just beyond tree planting. The challenges are just as follows. During the 2020, as we all know, just COVID was just a severe problem, especially for our project. Initially, the project was intended to start in April 2020, but we started in August 2020. But even just after starting, we were not just able to travel to local areas because of the emergency state during that time. So just even the project was launched during December 2020. The security problem is just one problem, as we all know. This has, for example, impacted our schedule, especially during training. Even just we canceled one training after starting due to security. Absence of comprehensive forestry work norms. This is a critical problem that we observed. For example, so far we are just using the work norms that are developed by the Ministry of Agriculture. But in that work norm, there is no just let's see, final slide, okay. In that work norm, there is no comprehensive work norm. Normally, work norm includes standards also. Work norm, especially to assist restoration planning and implementation in the context of Southern. Like there is no work norm for assisted natural regeneration, and this is just an important support, especially from the research institution to support restoration. The weak forestry enforcement due to limited institutional capacity and absence of regulation and the directive is also a challenge. Absence of land use policy and the plan affects restoration activities also. So this, because just there is a land use conversion in this area. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ashebir, for very imagine, very illustrative presentation. I think we have learned a lot from the NABU's experience, because you have been talking about the national commitment, the national difference, and so on. But NABU has stated this national down to the local level. They are trying to implement some FLR development activities. So they are a good example, a good model for implementing the FLR initiatives. Especially, I'm very interested with their approach, the way they approach the problem. So the way they started the development plan and finally reached the implementation phase. It's very participatory. They start with the diagnosis of the problem, the diagnosis of the physical problem, the environmental problem, the diagnosis of the social problem, that community, and they conduct this diagnosis or analysis of problems with DRA and other participatory data, and they produce a map, potential map of FLR. Then based on that map, they produce finally a development plan. The FLR development plan, and they implement accordingly. So this is a very good approach. We can take this and we can practice, or we can try in our local situations. So the very good participatory local development planning process. And the Ashebir had also the talent they come across during the implementation of this activities. So if you have any concern, any comments, relation, again, the Iron, Clown, okay, 4 people. What about from Ghana? Is there any comments, question, concern? Dr. Andreas, then Dr. Andreas. Okay, let's give Dr. Andreas.
Thank you. This was a really excellent presentation. Thank you very much. Very insightful and very exciting. I found that actually you touched on all the major aspects of FLR. I just found one aspect that was not so much emphasized, which is the benefit sharing. So obviously at the beginning, the plan is about restoring the landscapes to provide multiple functions. Have you also made already some plans, thoughts about benefit sharing? And in connection to that, some of the basal areas that you had in your inventory indicates somewhere 60, 70, 80 square meters per hectare, so very high basal areas. So this potentially indicates that even some limited sustainable harvesting may be possible in those forests. Was that considered in your plan or not? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Other question from Vera?
Yes, I have a question. Also, I would like to join Andras in congratulating Mr. Ashebir for this very comprehensive project presentation with all the ingredients needed for FLR. One statement I would like to do now in the beginning, looking at the entire package this program is doing, and a lot of aspects actually hint already on the fact that FLR is definitely not a means on just an objective in itself. It's always a means towards sustainable land use. You know, I'm always thinking that FLR is repairing damage which have been done in the past, and then it leading over to a more sustainable and better land use. So hopefully in future we don't need to repair the landscape anymore. We have less soil erosion, we have better water quality, have better productivity, but that means also, and this was already in in some of the slides visible in the presentation, it's about management of the land. No? Where are the work norms, the standards in agriculture, in forestry, in agroforestry? So if these are improved, hopefully, there is no need for large-scale restoration, maybe in 20, 30, 40 years from now. So that I think we should keep in mind, that restoration should be a transition to better land use with all those things to be arranged. My question to Mr. Ashebir would be, you have done a lot of stakeholder processes. Who is facilitating these processes? Thanks. Back to you, Dr. Teshoma.
Thank you very much. What about Janice?
Thank you. I would have a comment, but I saw there's many in the room, so please go ahead with the room. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, if you can hear me, because my point is like the area they put in first cover. Now who is operating? Now who has contributed a lot in various management, and then their study also to be in UNESCO registered in your areas. So that contribution is really to be appreciated of NABU. My point is like we need to see NABU's experience of saving natural forests differently from what is extremely dependent areas which we restore in other areas. Because NABU's experience is like saving the remnant forest. Like for example, in their study they have presented that Ashebir said from 2000 to 2021, in 21 years, the tree density, how much does it increase? That has gone partly to forest, forest or something like plantation or whatever. So there are big trees, but there are no regenerating ones because it has converted completely to COVID situations. You have big trees, you have cover along this story, but there is no regeneration. And my question to other so Ashebir is how about the completely forest dependent communities they know in that area? Completely forest dependent. People dwelling only in the forest. Taking all their livelihoods from the forest. So how will you counter with them? How will you contribute to their livelihood life? Because in some areas you have started forestry with wood trees, and in some areas you have started wood roads, to compensate the lost forest. So how do you deal with the forest dependent community there? And how do you see your operation like saving the forest, saving the biodiversity, and then completely establishing landscape with storage activities in very big areas similar as in country, like in northern part of the country. Because you see forestry area. Thank you very much.
I think now for some years for Ashebir appreciates the contribution now to make the bioscale in that area. One of the stakeholders was now, I think. And having said this, I think I heard from Ashebir's presentation that they are not working on the biosphere, especially in the poor area. That they are not mistaken. And who is working there if now is not? The other one is already mentioned. How is the benefit sharing to the local communities really achieving the area? Thank you
very much. Next. So.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Ashebir, and really I would like also to congratulate because you came up with a very nice project idea. You showed us clearly the approach or the process been going through. But I can't be able to get what was your target and achievement, the target versus achievement in your project. Meaning initially what was your target, either in terms of area, hectare, or in terms of households to be addressed, or whatever parameter, what was the achievement in versus target in fact, it will be too early to speak with the high level results this time. That's the carbon situation, vegetation cover, because it's almost nearly 2 years time. And the other is why you specifically focused on this southwestern forest block, and how was the selection process for those warriors? Is that through the regional authority, or you have your own criteria for selection of this meaning warriors? The other one is in terms of addressing the poor, the youth in the movement, how much your projects really contributed so far? Dr. Alina also, there may be some community which are really totally dwelling on the forest. So have you really addressed somehow the problems in terms of income generation, whatever? Also, this will relate with the benefit sharing mechanism. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's one more. Okay. Next story. Yes, sir.
የሆነ ቦታ ላይ መቆም አለበት ብዬ አስባለሁ እና ህብረተሰባችን እንደዚህ እያደረገ ነገር ጥናቶችን በደረጃ መሆን ይቻላል። ለምሳሌ ሰው እዚህ ጥናቶችን አንብቦ ሊረዳ በሚችልበት ጊዜ ተጠቅሞ ሊወርድ ይቻላል። በዚህ ጉዳይ ላይ ማሰብ አለብን። በቀጣይ አሸብር በጣም ጥሩ ማለት የምትኖሩበት ህይወት ለማሳየት ይችላል። እሱን እሺ ታደርጋለሁ። ምናልባት ይህንን ሲቪል ሶሳይቲ ተከታተሉትን ታስቡና ስትሉ ያው ሊገፋችሁ ኃይል አለና ለምን ነው የበጀት ምንጫችሁ እና ምን ያህል ኦርጋናይዜሽኑ ከፍቱና ከዛ በኋላ የበጀት ምንጫችሁ ምን አድርጋችሁ ተነስታችሁ ነው ዛሬ ላይ ነው ከዚህ ተሞክሮኛው ከዚህ አይዲያ የሚመስለው እያካባቢያችን እንደዚህ አይነት ነገሮችን ለመፍታት ኦርጋናይዜሽኑ እንደዚህ ብሎ ፓርትነር የሚገኝ እና
በእንግሊዝኛ ያደረጉት ዲስከሽን ነው። Dr. Andreas, Dr. Michael, and Jans, one of our participants raised this question in Amharic, and when Ashebir responds to the question, you will understand what is question or what is asking. He was asking about the project objective of NABU, the financial source for NABU, and so on. So when Ashebir responds to these questions, you will hear the detail. So, Ashebir, let me try to respond very well. Once more. Okay.
Thank you, Ashebir, for your informative presentation. I have two questions, and one comment. I have been in Southwest before, scale-based or something, and there is some problems facing implementation of other projects, other interventions. So I have two questions, but I have an appreciation for this project, which starts from the ground, from problem identification. Other projects, I think, they are not doing from the ground, from the scratch, and the interventions they use are not appropriate at the Southwest society or the community. So my first question is, what do NABU done to reduce duplication of interventions other than other projects or programs through intervening other programs in this planning phase or any other system? What is?
Are you the duplication of future
Yeah,
between now and other?
the region experts and officials are raising these problems when we are monitoring the region. The other question is, nowadays the Southeast forests are facing investment, coffee investment challenges. How can we intervene through this program, or else you identify the problem because the regions or the zones you mentioned raised this problem? Cooperatives, the PFM cooperatives are failing because of coffee investment. So how can we face this problem through these projects? Thank you.
Whichever age you skip comments and try to respond to questions.
Thank you very much, and I really appreciate. Thank you very much, and I really appreciate all of you for raising the questions. This is a very helpful point, especially for our project. As I said, just this project is an ongoing project. It's not yet completed. So just the issues that you raised will be taken well, and just we will use while finalizing the forest action plan. Maybe just for your information, just as we all know, just restoration is a long-term process. It's a process. So just some of the questions raised will be just addressed over time. And these are just a very good remark for us, especially benefit sharing related issues. And other issues are an important point to be considered. Regarding the benefit sharing, as I said, just we are using already established PFM cooperatives and associations. We are not organizing the community. We are using the already established PFM members and the community groups. So just when implementing activities in their own forest areas that are the take from the government through a kind of just agreement, the benefit sharing mechanism is just handled according to their institutional bylaws. But just during the intervention of this project, we are mainly focusing on trying to address especially communities who are just disadvantaged. For example, there are communities that are marginalized and highly dependent in the forest resources for their subsistence livelihood. For example, during the distribution of fruit seedlings, spice seedlings, we put criteria in the community selection, especially to address the issues of the poor and also the youth group, because just one of the pressure is coming from the youth group. So just we are trying to address in such a way. Otherwise, just the benefit sharing arrangement and the mechanism is just addressed or dealt with already established institution. For example, when we are just promoting forest-based or tree-based livelihood promotion like NTFPs, honey development, marketing, spice, coffee, we select some communities depending on criteria that are jointly identified in partnership with the local expert, the PFM leaders, and ourselves. So just this will be taken also just for the future. did you include in your plan? Just we'll just consider especially the issue of benefit sharing mechanism in our plan, but so far just we are doing like this. FLR, yes. Okay, I will take this as an comment. Who is facilitating the process? Yes, the process is facilitated by the project team. This project has a team of group. For example, I'm coordinating the team at national level, and there are site coordinators at the respective implementation area. There is also just colleagues from German side who are just working together with us. So just we have a team of professionals or project team who are just facilitating the process. NABU's experience in conservation, okay, biodiversity and BR-related matters, as you already mentioned, NABU supported the establishment of the two biosphere reserves, Kafa and Lake Tana. So just when I mentioned about the issue of biosphere reserve, there are 3 different zones according to the biosphere area mapping. The core area is just the one of the areas that no one is just allowed to intervene. It's just left for nature, selected by different criteria. Otherwise, just in the, for example, buffer area and also the development area, we can implement the possible restoration strategies and activities. But in the core area, just we are not allowed to do anything. So just we are just trying to integrate conservation, development, and sustainable resource utilization. Yeah, are working with BR. Yes, we are working on BR, as I already said. What is your target and achievement? Normally, just the idea of this presentation is not to share the target. Otherwise, just I can present. For example, one of the target is just to develop a forest action plan as end of the project. We are expected to have to produce 3 forest action plans for each of the zones, and also just we are expected to develop a tool, a kind of tool like, for example, the guideline that we are using for PFM. We are just working on a kind of tool which will help to implement FLR in the future. So just that is the other. In terms of beneficiaries, for example, there are a small number of beneficiaries as a target. For example, there are 921 households are expected to directly benefit from this project through the piloting activities, because just the majority of this work is just mainly on the planning aspect. I will take just your point as a comment, but regarding the budget, I mentioned it's just BMZ is our source of funding, and specifically this project is just using close to 1 million euro for the 2 organizations. For example, from our side, it's just 700,000 euro. Okay, regarding avoiding duplication, that's why just we established the platform. The importance of having such platform at regional level is just as much as possible to avoid duplication of efforts, and that is already started. But as you already mentioned, there are duplication of efforts. I hope just that will be just minimized gradually, but we are trying to deal through the integration of organizations together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ashebir.